Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. I mean, the end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
Okay, thank you.
So this was Biden responding to reporters who were asking him about the potential of a ceasefire. And Hamas was like, Hamas said, no, there isn't one. We're not anywhere in the territory of an agreement. That's what they told him. I mean, he's audio somebody 3. He kept doing it. He kept like, listen to this one. He's talking on behalf of Israel.
There is a path forward with difficulty, but here's the path forward. Look, first of all, the hostages being held must be released. And if we've got at least a principle agreement, there will be a ceasefire while that takes place. Ramadan's coming up, and there's been an agreement by the Israelis that they would not engage in activities during Ramadan as well, in order to give us time to get all the hostages out. That gives us time to begin to move in directions that a lot of Arab countries are prepared to move in. For example, Saudi Arabia is ready to recognize Israel. Jordan, Egypt.
No, they're not.
There's 6 other states. I've been working with Qatar. And the bottom line is that I think the only way Israel ultimately survives, and I make no bones about it. I get criticized
lying
for having
his
said a
butt
long
off
time
on
ago.
this in this soundbite. He is lying. First off, he's lying about Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia, their foreign ministry, said explicitly in a statement that they are not going to have any kind of agreement. They're not going to have no diplomatic relations at all whatsoever with Israel unless Israel recognizes a quote-unquote non-existent state that's never existed in all of antiquity, a Palestinian, quote-unquote Palestinian state. Now, that state comes with Hamas as its elected government. That's not going to happen. And they want, and Saudi Arabia is dictating, they're trying to dictate terms. Now, here's the problem. The elected government of the state that Saudi Arabia wants to be recognized as its own entity refuses to recognize Israel as its own state. Saudi Arabia didn't say anything about that in their statement. So do you see how this is a stalemate? Biden is lying. He thinks you're too stupid to pay attention to stuff like this. Furthermore, the problem is made worse when Hamas has said, no, there's not any kind of agreement or anything in place. Hamas doesn't want to do anything unless Israel fully withdraws. And Israel cannot afford to keep any remnant of Hamas in place to engage in more October 7th style terrorist massacres. They can't. I mean, they had a ceasefire on October 6th and Hamas violated it, just like the ceasefire they had before that and the one before that and the one before that. So they're lying about this entire situation. And this is Biden I think this is him trying to tread water and get Michigan on board. Make it look like, again, triangulation. Make it look like he's appealing to both without actually really doing anything. Because they really can't pressure Israel all that much. And why would you? That would be like somebody pressuring the United States in the wake of 9/11. Or don't be so mean to Japan after Pearl Harbor. No. But this is about him and his success, not just, with the primary, but to not be run out of his own party, more so than it is about Israel or anything else. I mean, you can't sit here and demand that Israel basically that they commit seppuku to make it more convenient for your reelection. You can't demand that, and that's what Biden's actually trying to demand. And they can't do that. And none of these other countries, if Saudi Arabia thinks that Palestine, which is non-existent and has never existed, should exist as a state, they should have no problem taking in some of those refugees, huh? Ask them why they haven't. Why isn't Saudi Arabia taking any of these refugees in? They think they should be their own state and all. Why haven't they taken any of the refugees in? Don't you think that you should be able to demonstrate a willingness to accept refugees from your own neighbors in that particular part of the world of which the Arab League is responsible before you start dictating terms to the people that they committed a terrorist attack against? I just feel like that, I just feel like that. Don't you think that at the very least they should demand that the government that they want to keep existing recognize its neighbor to the north? if they expect to be recognized themselves. But see, Saudi Arabia didn't actually include those details or that request in their initial demand about recognizing the existence of a state that's never existed in all of antiquity. They didn't do that. That's why I think it should be disregarded as not a serious proposal. Nor should any proposal from any other country that makes such a stupid suggestion and then also refuses to take itself any refugees. So Hamas was like, oh, Biden's comments are premature. I mean, he's allowing himself to be made look stupid by terrorists who stole pipes for the water supply to turn into bombs. Like, those people he's allowing to make him look goofy. And I think part of this is because the people advising him, I think that they're at odds with each other. They don't know how to deal with this situation. It's tough for them, and everyone's trying to kiss Michigan's butt. They're trying to keep Dearborn's population happy. At the expense of what? World peace? This is so stupid. Israel, you shouldn't expect a country that has been attacked to not defend itself and then recognize the government that literally has as part of that's the reason why Hamas was more popular than Fatah. Because Fatah, I mean, it's the lesser of two evils, I guess. It's just such a lame way to put it, but at least they were prevailed upon to recognize Israel's right to exist, where Hamas said, pound sand. It's not going to happen. And they enjoyed immense popularity. That's why they suspended elections in the West Bank, because Hamas was going to take over. I mean, they kind of have already, just, not a formality is the election. They didn't want to be run out. So the problem is not, look, if Hamas wanted peace, all they would have to do is stop murdering people and lay down their arms. If Israel laid down their arms, they would get obliterated again. That's all there is to it. So he's lying. I can't believe he said that about Saudi Arabia. I cannot believe he said that on national television. On what's his face? Who's that guy, Seth? What's his face?
Myers?
Yeah, that guy. The Great Value version of Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. Right? He's like the less funny Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't believe that he just lied about that. I mean, they literally said no Israel ties without recognition of Palestinian states. And maybe he confused them because the agreements establishing relations and recognition of them, that it's the four of the Arab League countries. It's Bahrain, it's UAE, it's Sudan, and Morocco. Those are the Arab League countries that have recognized their existence and right to it. So that's it. But that was from their top foreign minister. He said this on January 6th. So Biden's lying there. Someone needs to brief him. He's lying or he forgot. Or do you honestly think, come on, he thought that Sisi was the president of Mexico and that the southern border was like over by Egypt. He's all confused. And do you think he knows the Arab League countries that have actually, no, he doesn't. To him, there's too many.